Let me introduce you to the people whose obsession became their addiction, built empires, fueled investments, and shaped our future. I'll walk you through the crazy, the impossible, and the spark that fueled someone's passion become the right side of obsession. What one person might call crazy, another will say obsession. Together, we will explore how the right side of obsession can fuel your motivation, transform the impossible, and build your resilience to make you unstoppable. Watch as I take you inside the obsession to witness the hyper-focus and laser beam energy required to grow your business and build your empires. Obsession has birthed inspiration and fueled dreams. I will show you how the obsession is necessary to turn your passion into profits. Welcome to the season of I Own It. Obsession, where one person's dreams become a reality. Diane is known for her jaw-dropping celebrity and television weddings. She is an industry veteran in events and design, and her array of clientele spans across 4 continents. Once you meet her, you will never forget her. A seasoned television host, Diane has been a dream fulfiller, hosting incredible wedding shows as well as a guest expert on celebrity, lifestyle, interior design, and love topics. Her show on Bravo, To Roam for Love, gave us an up-close look of Diane's electrifying personality, her trend-setting fashion sense, and most importantly, her heart. Welcome to the show, Diann Valentine.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Wonderful.
Nice to see you.
You too.
When we decided to title the season Obsessed, your name immediately came up. What role do you feel being obsessed has played in all your endeavors?
You know, I have to tell you that my obsession with so many things, I think, has been a driving force for me in my life, in my career, and in my happiness.
So you produce some of the most well-known celebrity weddings and events. You must have up-close view what obsession can look like. Share with us your best obsessed and worst obsessed stories that you have in your career.
Oh, wow. I have been obsessed about living well. I think that so many people in life do not live well. I think people make a lot of money and they have success, and they have failures, but they don't know how to live well. And what I mean by that is, you know, for example, I've designed multimillion-dollar homes for clients, right? And I go to their house for a meeting and I say, can I have a glass of water? And they say, sure. And they go to the pantry and they come back with a red plastic Jiffy cup. And I'm just like, who lives like this? Like, I don't want your red plastic cup. I'm in this $10 million home, $20 million home. I would like to have a nice glass of water. So little things like that, I think, have shown me how my obsession has driven my life for the best. And then, of course, when I think about, you know, a worst case scenario, I think that when we look at the world and we look at people like political figures and we look at people that are obsessed with power and money, they use their obsession to do a whole lot of destruction in the world.
Is there one particular story you know from all your clients that you can identify saying, man, that person's really obsessed?
Oh my God, I think every single one that I've worked with has been obsessed. But I just finished a job in Lake Como and I worked for Rajon Rondo. And I think Rajon is someone that is obsessed with winning. He is a winner and he wins. And he's incredibly competitive. And I think his obsession with winning and being such a strong competitor means that he has to be right in every single scenario. And it's okay until you come into my wheelhouse. Because when you come into my wheelhouse, it's not about being right. But in this particular area of life, I know more than you.
Interesting. Are you sensitive to who you surround yourself with? Who comes into your mind space? Who do you interact with because of that principle?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am very careful with who's in my circle of family life and professional life. And there is some overlap in that, right? And that is because there's a couple of people I want to surround myself with. People that are smarter than me, right? People that have accomplished more than I have accomplished. And 3 is people that will challenge me, right? I wake up every morning with a lot of problems, but a self-esteem is not one of them, right? So I don't want yes people in my life. I want people that will challenge me to be greater and be better every day.
So since you started and how much you've grown as a person and professionally, have you had to cut people out of your life and make some hard decisions about who you want involved in your business and your personal life?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've lost friends. I've lost business associates. I've lost relatives. And for me, it's not really a loss, right? Because I've got this one life to live, and I've got a finite amount of time to live it. And so the things that I want to accomplish on a daily basis, it means that everybody is not intended to be on that journey with me. And those that aren't intended to be there, I wish them well. And we part in love. But I also know that they don't have a space, or they don't deserve a space in my life.
Where do you find the courage to stand out, build your business, and set the bar in the industries you're involved in?
Interestingly enough, my father was such a driving force, I think, in who I am, because he would tell me every day that I was beautiful and I was talented and I was smart, and that I really could do and accomplish anything that I wanted. And I just had the audacity to believe him. And so in believing him, I never felt like I needed to fit in anywhere, because God created me to stand out, right? And I believe that the world is looking for people like me. The world is looking for game changers, they're life changers that are going to change the trajectory of the way the movement of the world is happening. So I think that I'm an asset because I'm different.
Oh, absolutely. So you've said that in order to deliver magic, it requires 2 fundamental components: the courage to embrace a new game-changing idea, and the discipline required to execute it. What do you advise people about when you're dealing with the naysayers?
It's really easy to deal with naysayers, in my opinion, right? Because you have to realize that whatever people are trying to discourage you, or to tell you that you can't do something, or that you can't accomplish anything, that's because they are standing in their place of lack. They're standing in their place of wanting maybe a different life, but they couldn't achieve it. And so whatever their feelings are, they're just projecting onto you, And if you have anything you want to accomplish, you must know that that's nothing but noise. That's all it is. It's just chatter out there that's in the air. And so it's easy to ignore it, because quite frankly, if somebody's telling me I can't do something, what you're telling me is that you're not the person that's on the path that I'm on that's going to help me get there. So thanks, but let me move on.
As I've grown as a person, professionally and personally, that people I've had to kind of move out of the way and move on, because they're not on the same trajectory.
Yeah.
They're not on the same path. And I realized that as a young man, that you're going to have to gently say goodbye to people with love, like you said. Yeah. And so it's a real growing process as a person to understand, how am I going to deal with this growth? But you have to know internally that, sometimes in life, someone's not in your universe and aligned with you. Where do you find the courage to stand out, build your businesses, and set the bar in your industries?
That's a great question. And I think that dads are so fundamental, particularly for women. I had the best father in the world, hands down. I'd fight anybody over that title, right? But every day my father would tell me that I was beautiful and I was smart and I was accomplished and that I could do anything I wanted to do. He told me that I could create any kind of life that I wanted to create. And so having someone in my life that young, building me up at such a young age, I really had the audacity to believe him.
So you had a great support system to get you where you are right now. I am a major player in commercial real estate in the United States, and I always like to find out What role does real estate, whether it's residential or commercial, fit into your business model or your portfolio or your life?
Well, real estate is, I'm no mogul like you, but it certainly is the foundation for wealth building, and it's the foundation for generational wealth. My parents, when they were married, they also owned a ton of residential real estate, from apartment buildings to single family homes. And my mother made all her money in residential real estate. I feel like my mother, whenever I feel like I need to make a quick, just say $100,000 or $200,000, I'm going to call my mother and I'm going to say, Mom, I need to make some money quick. Find me a piece of property where I can do it. And she just has an innate knowledge for it. So I think it's something that's in me. It's not something that excites me, but what does excite me is generational wealth.
Oh, that's fantastic. One of your taglines is delivering creative innovation with excellence in execution. Tell us how being obsessed with what you're doing and how you're serving others helps you live up to this level of excellence and execution.
I talked a little bit about my obsession with living well. Well, part of living well is approaching every day believing that I need to show up and be my best. I need to show up and give you my best. And that is everybody that's in my life, right? If I go to the bank, if I go to the grocery store, if I'm meeting a multi-billion-dollar client, regardless of where I'm at, I choose to show up at my best. And my obsession with simply being the best is what kind of has been able to really catapult me forward.
So you're a huge supporter of women, just like I am. What can you share about women being more confident with being obsessed with their passions, desires, and building their lives individually?
I speak to a lot of women in my career professionally around the world. And the one thing that I think that women don't do enough is we are not selfish enough. We are so afraid that we're not spreading ourselves thin enough. We're not being everything we need to be for our children. We're not loving our husbands well enough. We're not kind enough to our employees. And we forget about self, right? The only way that I can be great is if I love myself better than anybody else in the world. That's the only way that I can be great. I can't be a good mom if I don't love myself more than I love my child, because I have to love myself more in order to show up for her as big as I need to show up for her, because she needs a hero. She doesn't need a mom that's going to pick her up and put a Band-Aid on her owie when she falls. She needs a hero that's going to show her how to create an extraordinary life. And that requires a little bit of selfishness.
Tell us about SLEIGH and the slogan, turn every sidewalk into a catwalk with SLEIGH. Yes. What does that specifically mean to you?
SLEIGH hair is a line of synthetic braiding hair that I started that is non-toxic, itch-free. And essentially, it's the solution that Black women have been waiting for because of so many problems, right?
Well, let me ask you, is a lot of different lines outside of yours, are they toxic?
They are incredibly.
That's a big problem out there?
They are incredibly toxic because synthetic hair is made with a fiber. It's not a hair. It's a fiber, like a carpet fiber, right? And when they make the fiber, they use a lot of plastics and harsh chemicals to develop it. And so those harsh chemicals, they say they are harmless because it's in small doses. But women that use them have some severe scalp issues, from irritation to redness to hair loss to scabbing. Psoriasis have developed and all sorts of problems. And so when they say that there are no problems with it, what that's just telling me are the developers of these synthetic hair products have really good trade deals with the U.S. because for whatever reason, we're not telling the truth about these toxicity in these products. And so out of my frustration, I decided that if not me, then who? And I felt like there was a better solution. There was a white space, if you will, in that industry that I felt like I could go in and tackle it and make it a much safer, environmentally friendlier, and still affordable product. What's
been the feedback with the product from women? What have you heard?
It's been phenomenal. You know, some of the feedback has been, I stopped wearing braids because my scalp was itching so bad, because the irritation was so bad. You know, I've been wearing these. My back is not itching. I used to get rashes on my face. My face hasn't broken out. This hair is so soft. It feels like human hair. Those are some of the reactions we get, which is amazing.
Are you looking at other type of items to go along with the SLEIGH brand as part of the SLEIGH brand?
For sure, absolutely. So we have the braiding hair right now. We're preparing to launch SLEIGH ponytails in the spring.
Okay.
And then we're starting to work on our wet good products like braid gels. We're working on like a numbing cream for the scalp detoxes, things like that.
Is this a product that's throughout the U.S.? Is it going to be also throughout the world? How do you market the product?
Yeah, it's currently sold through our e-commerce site. Okay. So our DTC business is strong and thriving. We've also, in the first 90 days of our launch, we got picked up nationwide by TJ Maxx and Marshalls. Oh, wow. And in a couple of months, we're going to launch in Target and Walmart. So it's growing.
Oh, that's exciting. So obviously, you know, you are a fashion queen. You know, we see how you dress and how you present yourself, which I admire. How has fashion changed? Where you started in your career to now, what have you seen the changes in fashion?
Fashion has changed for the good and the bad, right? From a bad perspective, right? I come up where fashion was something that we aspired to be. My mother is a very regal, very refined woman. She believed in living well. She believes in living well. She believed in dressing well, right? And today we have this new category called fast fashion, right? Fast fashion, where garments are made for pennies on the dollar. They're sold for pennies on the dollar. And women look bad often wearing fast fashion. And what it does to the environment is just horrible, right? Because landfills are filled with all this excess clothing because it's made so cheap. So people are consuming it at rates that they never have before, right? As opposed to buying the perfect black dress and you wear it and you keep it for 20 years and then you pass it down to your daughter because it's the perfect black dress.
Well, for a lot of women out there that are watching, some people don't have the same budget that you have for your clothes. What do you say to them? Because can anyone create their own fashion and dress nice, and you could be on a budget and really present yourself well? What do you say to the women out there? Because that's always a struggle. Women they get their hair done, their nails, they want to look nice. It gets expensive, but can you create your own style on a budget?
Well, I believe two things, right? And the first thing is style is different from fashion, right? If you have great style, you can go to Target and walk out and look good. Right? I like to think I have style along with my obsession for fashion. So having style is an important thing that many women don't possess, right? Many women don't possess. The other thing is I was the kid growing up, right? My mom would say, here's your money for school shopping. Go out and buy what you want. Make sure you come back with at least, 2 weeks worth of clothes because, a 5-day school week. I would come back with one pair of Calvin Klein jeans. And I'd come back with one pair of brand new Nike sneakers. And my mother would go, where are your school clothes? Why didn't you buy that? And I would just say, well, Mom, I'd rather have quality than quantity, right? And it's something I've continued to live by. Yes, I have a fashion obsession, but I buy quality pieces and I repeat them. It is nonsense to think you're supposed to wear something once and never wear it again.
Right. I know a lot of women that they go to an event and they just want to buy a dress and they don't wear it again. And I said, well, how does that make sense?
It doesn't.
Especially if you love the dress, why not show it off at different events?
Absolutely. And if I love the dress, I'll spend $5,000 on it.
Right.
And I'll wear it 100 times.
Right.
Rather than spend $39.99 on a dress and wear it once and throw it away.
So you get a better return, but
that's what I'm saying.
I'm the same way
you
with suits.
Understand me.
I do. I get you. I feel you. I love your energy. So tell me how you went from events to consumer goods with SLEIGH.
Because I started my career in the service business, and I love service business, and I love the luxury industry, but being of service was making me tired. It was making me tired, and it wasn't helping me build a legacy. So as I started thinking about what was my next move, I thought, how can I build a different kind of company? One, a company that doesn't require me every minute of every day. And two, how can I build a company that's going to touch millions of women every year? Because in the luxury space, in the event space, I do that once or twice a year for a few very wealthy girls. And they get fabulous things out of me, right? But that's just one or two girls. When I transitioned into beauty, I realized that now I have a platform where I can essentially impact millions of women every year and give everybody a little bit of that Diann Valentine thing that I've been perfecting for the last 50 years.
I want you to notice something. Diane lives her brand. Ask yourself, what is something you can do, wear, or say that allows you to establish your personal brand? Being remembered is the first part of developing a great brand. You heard Diane talk about the courage you need to lean in to build more confidence. What can you do right now to stand a little taller, live a little bolder, as you're turning every sidewalk into your catwalk for your brand, business, and the life you want to live? It's time that you raise your standards to excellence. So we're all works in progress, right?
Yes.
Okay. What do you wish you learned sooner?
What do I wish I learned sooner? I think I wish I would have learned at a young age that everything is going to be okay, right? No matter how bad things look, no matter how challenged they appear, it's going to work out in the end. God is always with me, right? So I've had my darkest days and my loneliest nights and my hungriest nights, and somehow I woke up and lived to see another day. Somehow I got through it.
So there are a lot of men and women entrepreneurs watching right now, especially the women out there that are starting out and they have to deal with fear and failure and how to accept it. What do you say to everyone out there that, because you've been through it, you go through your career, you have ups and downs. What do you say to people that are starting out or in business and want to get to a Diann Valentine level?
Couple of things. Work like it all depends on you. That means hard work. That means long hours. That means missing fun stuff, not having a social life. You pray like it all depends on God. And I don't care who your God is, right? I don't care if you're Catholic, if you're Buddhist, or whatever it is, but you better believe in something that's bigger than me and you, because it's that belief and that faith is the only thing that's going to get you through the tough times. And then number 3, be committed to excellence. If you want to be a garbage man, be the best garbage man the world has ever seen.
Great advice. Diann Valentine, thank you so much for joining us. What a privilege.
Such an honor.
Thank you again. Obsession can drive people to do things they wouldn't normally do. Obsession can prioritize your dreams over daily comforts and create the momentum you need to go from good to great. Now it's your turn to fuel your obsession and join others, great leaders, investors, inventors who are leading the pack. What are you waiting for?